Well, hello class, and welcome to Friday. Friday of the second week of our first unit. So back in my office, not sitting in my home office talking to you all, but wanted to, before we reach the weekend, and you start to, probably I would assume, start to work on your well-being assessment response. I just wanted to really quickly kind of just come and do a video about what I'm looking for in this assignment, okay? So let me just say a couple things. It's a very straightforward assignment, okay? And you can read this, but I'm going to kind of go through the assignment that's been written and then give you a couple of more kind of elaborative responses to this, okay? So in this assignment, make sure that all of your margins are 1 inch on all sides, that you provide proper in-text citations, there's a references page, a cover page, and so forth. Make sure that you proofread it. I'm going to say this again, make sure you proofread it, and then I would say it again, make sure you proofread it. Okay, what I find in this work that I do as I grade papers, the biggest mistake and the most easily corrected mistakes that I find are when students simply don't proofread their papers. So I want to encourage you to proofread your paper multiple times. I'll tell you, it's not a pet peeve, but it is something that I go, what is going on? The fact that students, they, I guess I would say you, oftentimes, maybe they, because you don't do this, of course, but they'll submit a paper, you'll submit a paper, they'll submit a Word document so I can make comments. Please don't submit a PDF, submit a Word document, and read it, because you have these, you know, these edits, these red lines, these green lines, these purple lines, whatever color the lines are, that indicate there's a misspelled word, or there's improper grammar, or there's something there that's just not right, okay? So catch those mistakes, fix those mistakes, right-click, double-click, whatever it is, identify what it is that is being suggested. It's either, you know, spell the word differently or, you know, use different grammar. Read things again, because there are sentences that I read and I go, man, if they'd only spent an additional, not even that much time, a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes perhaps, to read through again and again, you would catch these mistakes, and they wouldn't necessarily be all that, you know, poor of a reflection on your ability to write. Because ultimately what happens is when I'm reading papers, if the writing is not done properly, if it's not written well, I miss out on the message, okay? Now in this first paper, you know, we're just kind of getting into it. You've never had me in class before. You're getting used to how I grade. I'm not going to be as stringent on the grammar and spelling as I will be, well, maybe the spelling, but the grammar and the formatting and all that as I will be in the future. But it is important for you to know that I do pay close attention to those things, okay? So please don't make superfluous, you know, use superfluous words or make superfluous statements. Don't make absolute statements. This, you know, when you write things like this always means this, or this could only mean this, because we don't know that that's the case, right? When you're going to make these pretty significant statements, make sure they're backed up with research, or they're supported, you know, by way of arguments that come from the literature and things of that nature, okay? So really be thoughtful in these assignments. This is, like I said, a very short and straightforward assignment. So you're going to buy a new version of Wellbeing. You're going to use the code in the back of each book. There's a little envelope if you get the paper one, and there's an online version. If you do the PDF, or not PDF, but the e-version, you'll have to actually go to the Wellbeing website and look in the help section of the search menu and actually look up how do you access the assessment code in the ebook. It's been years since I did that, and I get that question every year. And it seems that my response is not exactly what the students are supposed to do, so you'll be able to find that information on the website. Okay, make sure you do not read the book. Now, obviously, we're a couple of days out, so hopefully you haven't read the book before you took the assessment. So take the assessment first, and then you will go to submit the assignment in Assignments in Canvas. Okay, you will provide two things. Okay, you'll provide the PDF, and I said don't submit the assignment itself as a PDF, but you will submit your assessment results as a PDF. When you've completed the assessment, you will be given a PDF. I want you to include this. I want to be able to look at what your results say to compare them to what your written response then says. Okay? So you'll submit the PDF and a 2 to 3 page critique of the assessment. Okay? These must be uploaded at the same time in order for you to be able to submit them for purposes of the assignment. Okay, so here's some questions I want you to consider in your response. Simply, let's look at the first one. Did you agree with your results? Why or why not? You may say, I think that my financial well-being is actually much better than what this indicated, okay? So that's great, that's fine, but I want you to explain why, right? So don't just say, I disagree, and leave it at that. Well, why did you disagree? And in fact, what you may find in your disagreement, you may think, wait a second, maybe I have a sense of agreement with that. Now, maybe there's something to that. Maybe something does need to be adjusted, right? So maybe because I'm in graduate school right now, my social well-being is not as high as I would like it to be. Maybe it's not suffering, but it's not flourishing. It's not, at the top. Maybe I'm struggling, right? And again, I'll say, some of you may actually say this. This language, don't be turned off by the language, right? So when you read about suffering, like, I'm not suffering, you get all upset about that. Don't get turned off by that. It's just the wording that the assessment kind of creators, I guess you would say, have come up with. Because I think when you see things that are pretty like stringent, like they're very like in your face, like, whoa, that's a pretty significant word, suffering. I think they do that because they want to kind of grab a hold of your attention so you give additional thought to these results, okay? So please don't be turned off by that. Say, I'm not suffering. I don't agree with that statement, so I think that's wrong. Well, maybe there's something there, okay? So really kind of dive deep into your results, okay? So do you agree? Why or not? Do you see the assessment as being valuable? I would say to you in a couple of different ways. Do you see it being valuable to you personally, as well as, and even I would say more specifically, to the field of career counseling, okay? So, and then again, why or why not? Now, here's the thing. You are not even 2 full weeks into career development, and so this may be the first time that you will ever kind of dabble into this career development space. That is absolutely okay. I don't expect you to know everything, okay? I've been doing this for a long time, and there's still things that I'm discovering all the time. So what you either know about career counseling, or I would even say what you think you know about career counseling. In light of what you know or what you think you know, do you find this assessment valuable? Okay, those are really important questions for you to kind of key in on, all right? Continue on, and what I'm looking for then is, let's see, what else? Be sure to explain how you think this assessment might best serve you as a therapist in conducting career counseling, okay? So I want you to look at it from a couple different perspectives. Either I do agree, okay? If you don't agree, I still want you to think about how, even though I don't agree, how there still may be some value. What are some takeaways, especially as it relates, and here's I want you to pay especially close attention, as it relates especially to career well-being, okay? And I think what you heard me say in my initial comments about how career counseling relates to the greater field of marriage and family therapy, of counseling, hopefully you'll be able to see how the results of this assessment, whether you think it's amazing or not, how you see it fitting in potentially, even if you don't want to use it, how you think it could potentially fit into the greater whole of career counseling, and even potentially into the greater whole of the therapy and the counseling work that you will eventually, if you're not already, be doing, okay? The other thing I want you to discuss is how do you think the content in the text, the well-being text, specifically relates to the content that you have been reading so far in both Anderson and Vandehee and the Liptak texts, okay? So do you see any points of connection? If so, talk about it. If you don't, I want to encourage you to kind of dig a little bit deeper, right? You've only been in really just a few chapters of reading in these books, but do you see connections? And again, if you don't, I want to encourage you to dig deeper so you can start to see, okay, I think that it could connect here. And here's the thing that I want to both encourage and challenge you in. Later on in the term, I'm going to ask you to come up with some, what I'm going to call artifacts. Artifacts that you think relate to, connect to, and even I would say show and communicate the reality of career counseling and career development. I want you to, at least throughout this course, be thinking about career counseling often. I want you to be, even I would say, viewing things through the lens, perhaps, or even a grid, so to speak, of career counseling. how does what you're learning inform the things that you see around you? And how do, I would say, what you see around you, how does that then inform the things that you're learning specifically in this class? Okay, this is one of those tools I think is going to help you to think about things from that perspective. Okay, so the written portion of this assignment should be 2 to 3 pages long, and again include proper in-text citations, APA formatting, 1-inch margins on all sides, include a cover page, running head properly formatted. If you don't know how to do that, look up APA running head format. You can either do that through the APA website or go to what I like to always encourage students to check out is Purdue OWL, so it's the Purdue Online Writing Laboratory, and then make sure there's a properly formatted references page. Okay, you will be including a references page on here because you do need to talk about how Wellbeing, so there's a citation, at least one from Wellbeing, hopefully more, connects to Anderson, Van Heen, and Liptak. So you really should be having at least 3 different resources that you're citing on your references page. Okay, papers totaling over 3 pages will receive a reduction in grade. Now, when I mean 3 pages, I'm saying 3 pages of written word. Your cover page and your references page do not count towards this 3-page maximum. Okay, so in total, it really should be somewhere between 4 and 5 pages with either 2 or 3 pages of written response to the assessment and the book itself. Okay, so total points available for the assignment, 15, and it is due the final day of Unit 1, so this upcoming Sunday in a couple days here. I think that's the 9th of September, no later than 11:59 and 59 seconds p.m. on Sunday night. Okay, so we have 2 days left. If you have questions, please do not wait to send those questions to me until Sunday afternoon. I'll just tell you right now, I will not respond, okay? Because you've been given now a total of 2 weeks to really kind of wrap your mind around this assignment, and I've not heard from anybody, so I want to make sure that you are not waiting until the last minute, okay? I will also say this, that I do not accept late assignments, okay? So it is going to be due no later than midnight on Sunday, okay? I know that we had one late addition, and that's a conversation to have, but the rest of you have been in class the whole semester so far, these 2 weeks. So if you have any questions, make sure to email me. But again, do it earlier than not, and be as clear in your communication as you possibly can be. If you email me tomorrow morning, just know that I'm probably not going to get back to you right away because I'll be at home with my family, much like you would probably be doing your weekend things as well, though you're working on assignments and all of that. But don't be waiting by your email, hitting refresh to me get back to you, because I will get back to you as soon as I can, but it won't be immediate, okay? So if you have questions, maybe even send them this evening, and I'll probably be checking email sometime after 10 p.m. tonight, and depending on how my day goes tomorrow, if there's some lulls. But really my hope is, would have been that you would have already been in correspondence with me earlier this week as you're thinking about this assignment. So it's a really, like I said, simple, straightforward assignment. Make sure you follow the directions to a T, as I would ask that you do for all assignments. Proofread your papers multiple times, and then, as I mentioned, upload the PDF of your actual well-being results. At the same time, you upload a Word version, not a PDF, not a pages, but a Word version of your 2 to 3 page response to the assessment and the text itself. So I hope you have a great time with the assessment, with the assignment, and I look forward to reading your responses, and I'll get them back to you just as soon as I can. Hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you online.